starts a day at the Cherry Skyway, and it's about 40 degrees out today. So this is like day number 3 that we've been out goofing off. Now, I didn't really get the bike out. On the first day, we sort of went out and scouted around with the Macan to see what was the best places. And yesterday, we went down this gravel road that runs parallel to the Macan. We call it the Gravel Hela. It's called Big Santitla, technically. It's a forest road that's gated a lot of times during the winter. We're lucky that it was even open. So we got to go down there and play on that a little bit and shoot some. I ripped some of the studs out yesterday. They're the shortest studs available by this model and brand and everything. So I put some more back in. You can see the gold ones are the new ones and the silver ones are where they're worn off the zinc coating that's on them. So I put a bunch back in, but they don't stay in real well. So I'm going to be looking at some better options for the rear tire. The front tire is fine, but the rear tire, when you give it the gas and kind of start goofing off on it, it tends to throw them out. So I'm going to look into getting some that go in from the inside and stick out and bolt on. They'll stay in better. We also made a modification today because the back of my helmet and the back of my jacket and everything was just destroyed with mud. And I think I'm actually going to try to come up with a solution that's like marketable with like an extending fender for people who have cafe racer style bikes. You end up in the wet or off-road, you can reach back and pull this thing out and it'll give you a little bit of a fender temporarily for keeping the back of your gear clean. But yeah, I'm going to unload here and we'll get up there as far as we can on the Skyway. I mean, I'm pretty sure I can make it all the way through. My concern is like where there's clear asphalt that's not very good on these studded tires. It really prefers ice primarily and then hard snow second. And there's going to be a lot of slush and stuff, and there's no solution for slush really, so I'm just going to have to take it easy until we get up to the real frozen stuff. But it's supposed to get like 50 degrees, 52 degrees down in town today, probably be like 40 up here. And with the sun out, this is going to start melting pretty quick over the next couple of days, I think. So this will probably be the last day. So yeah, as you can see, we got pretty muddy, and all of our hoses at home are kind of froze up, so we couldn't clean it off really. I just cleaned off the headlight and control surfaces a little bit. Yeah, this little dinky fender on the front doesn't do much good. And we were, like I said, we were off in the dirt road, so it was throwing dirt and mud everywhere. These studded tires, they made it where it really makes it a little bit trickier to get it in. Well, not that tricky, but it's a little bit different getting it into the bracket that holds the tire chock that holds the tire there, because the screws, I mean, you can see one right here really being torqued by the bracket itself. So it's a little bit rough on the screws going in and out of that wheel chock. But it's not too bad. It's just a little bit narrow for it, basically. My handlebar straps off. So yeah, nice thing about having this low rider truck, it's pretty easy to load and unload.
Am I too close with the Macan?
No. So much grip. Front tire's flat. That's why it keeps like trying to dump me. This is probably going to be a thing that's going to have to be done though, repeatedly until we get back. Yeah, I was like, damn, that front tire just keeps washing out way more than I thought it was right.
Squeaky, squeaky, squeaky. The old man woman in that red truck, she was taking video or pictures and he's sitting there shaking his head.
Be alright. So I think what's happened is driving on the asphalt has smoothed these things down to the point that they don't have their grip anymore. Yeah, like the ones on the outside edges haven't been touched, they'll almost cut your fingers. The ones on the middle, they're getting rounded.
Clean it real quick.
Yeah, I think it's from driving on the asphalt.
Yeah.
It's rounded those things smooth, and they just don't have the grip in the soft stuff or the ice and snow like they did at first.
Yeah.
And they're just, yeah, they're just still sliding around.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll just take our time and get back to the
Ease
truck.
it on down. Okay, so end of day, and yeah, that was interesting. The road is pretty inconsistent, I think is the best word. It's like there's some dry pavement, there's some wet pavement, there's some slush, there's some packed down snow, and there's a little bit of ice but not much left. It's pretty warm and pretty sunny today. First time I've ever ridden on studded tires, and you know, I took it real easy on the pavement. I'm not out here trying to damage anything. I don't think these aren't like carbide steel studs or anything like that. It's not a real hard metal. So I don't think we did any damage to any kind of pavement on this little 400-pound bike. I can see that the pavement did damage to the studs, which is good. I don't want to hurt the roads or anything. You know, that's the focus. I wasn't really sure what the roads were like up here today. I knew that there would be some exposed asphalt, and I thought I'd be able to sort of stick to the snowy sections and things like that, but it really wasn't an option. So I did the best I could, but what I learned was driving on the pavement with these kind of studs anyway, which again, these are just really cheap. It was like 80 bucks for 1,000. And it's just a little 1/4-inch screw with like a crown head. It's like a regular, regular 6-sided screw. And that little crown is pretty delicate. And so it beats down that crown. And then all that's left is just a sort of a smooth screw head doesn't have much grip. So I did not put many in the front wheel tire, and I think that attributed to them taking a harder beating because they're spaced apart, and so each one of them sort of getting more room to get jackhammered into the asphalt. And so the front tire, you know, yesterday and everything, when they had the strong grippiness to them, it was pretty good. I actually felt fine, but today that front tire just kept washing out just like it was flat or something. And actually it was flat at one point. Aired it up and it really didn't make any difference. So other things we learned,
I don't know, feel free to drop in, Lori. I mean, I just feel like, you know, typical dirt bike stuff. If you've ridden a dirt bike before, it makes it a lot easier to deal with the fact that the bike's gonna move around a little bit. But I feel like I got my own head a little bit. And when it started trying to wash out, I got more concerned about it. I started envisioning, you know, the bike dumping, falling over on me. And so I got a little bit more tense. And it was almost like as you slowed down, it got worse. Like, as long as I had some speed, it would move around, but the centrifugal stability from the spinning tires made it such that it didn't really want to like turn the front end or anything. But as I slowed down, it didn't have enough stability. And when the front tire started to move, it really wanted to turn, and that was freaky. So it's a hard thing to wrap your head around, that you really almost need to go faster in order to have more stability. But of course, there's a risk involved with that. If you do go down at higher speeds, it's going to be uglier. But yeah, we hope you enjoy the video that we got, the photos that we got. I gotta say thanks again to our Patreon supporters. They pretty much funded this whole endeavor. Like, you know, this is where the idea came from, which was, you know, doing some live video stuff for the Patreon page. And we started talking about things to do during the winter to keep it interesting, because normally we just sort of chill out during the winter and we don't produce a lot of content. And those guys have really been impetus behind, you know, coming up with ideas and staying motivated to do things during the off season that we normally take the time to just sort of veg out. And I enjoyed it. I really had a good time, and I appreciate those guys for funding what allows us to have a good time, and I feel like bring good content to everybody, even the ones that aren't you know, able to do that right now. It's a weird time, I totally get it, but I do appreciate those of you that are able to you know, do that and help us out during our off season and on season as well. It's really cool. Thanks, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. So we're here on the scene with Lori Killgirl Cannon on the Chickamauga Skyway. And you got anything to say to the crowd there, Lori?
I'm working my way down.
Sliding downwards. And there you have it. The Killgirl Snow Angel. Superstar!
Superstar.